piece of the rail may have split. Lots of things occur in these violent rail accidents. Accidents are never one thing. They're a chain of events, which if you take one of these chains out, you may be able to save the accident from happening. So the Ntsb is going to bring in a GO team, which will have a number of professional investigators dealing in track. They'll be also looking at the locomotive. They'll be looking at signals. They'll also be dealing with maintenance. They'll be trying to contact the railroad that owns that track. It's not Amtrak track. They lease that. They rent it for their trains to be able to go over. But the actual owners of the track are probably a freight railroad.
Right. Now, Mark, can you tell us what investigators are doing right now? What are the most time-sensitive elements of this investigation?
Well, an entire crew is going to be coming out, but right now the scene is owned and operated by the first responders at this point. The most important thing you can do is to try to get as many people to the hospitals as quickly as you possibly can in order to be able to save life and limb. The investigators will probably be out there sometime either later this afternoon or this evening. The track will then, of course, the police will have cordoned everything off so that the investigators are going to be able to document the scene. And then, of course, each one of these specific investigative disciplines will begin the work that they're supposed to be doing and focusing on.
Now, we have reports that at least 77 people have been transported to area hospitals. Do you think at this point that there are still victims there in the wreckage who are being removed and rescued?
We don't know that. Obviously, the first responders are going through each and every one of these cars. They're also looking around the cars because sometimes in these violent accidents, people can be ejected from the train. We've seen that before. So there is a methodical, meticulous examination of the scene itself to make sure we get everybody off. Right. And also then the investigators will then continue that methodical, meticulous examination for the investigative process.
Right, and we did hear that there were 78 passengers on board as well as 5 crew members. Of course, we don't know if any passerby or drivers on the highway were also injured. It appears as if at least several were.
We don't know exactly, but clearly with a train coming off the track and falling onto a major highway, if in fact nobody died, that is an amazing feat in and of itself. And quite a lucky opportunity. But we do know there were fatalities on board the trains, and that's a terrible thing to have to deal with.
Absolutely. Now, we do also know that this was a high-speed train, 80 miles per hour, we're told it was going. What kind of track maintenance do you need for high-speed trains? Is that different than the kind of track maintenance you need for regular trains?
You have to be looking at it. You'll be looking at the Federal Railroad Administration's regulations as it relates to maintenance periods, when the last maintenance was done, when they did inspection on it. All of those records are held by that freight railroad that owns that track, and the Ntsb will be requiring them to give that material up.
So, Mark, what are the most important parts of this investigation to your mind? What is it most important that investigators learn quickly?
Well, they'll be looking at the track to see if there was an anomaly. The video that, in fact, is on the dash cam might show some type of a kink, which could have created the possibility of the derailment at that point. They'll also be interviewing the engineer and the conductors and the trainmen that are part of this particular train. They'll be doing a toxicology investigation to make sure that this crew was not under the influence of any type of a drug or alcohol.
Mark, I'm just going to interrupt you for one moment. Please stay with us, though. I'm going to read a statement from Washington Governor Jay Inslee that just came out. This is his statement on the Amtrak incident today in Pierce County. Today's tragic incident, and I quote, in Pierce County is a serious and ongoing emergency. Trudy and I are holding in our hearts everyone on board and are praying for the many injured. They are our top priority, and I know first responders are doing everything to ensure everyone has the care they need. Everyone should avoid traveling I-5, and WSDOT is working to open alternate routes through the area during the emergency response. This morning I spoke with my cabinet officials, and we are in touch with Amtrak, who we know are working to provide as much information as possible. WSOD will have further updates on Twitter. Those in the area can mark themselves safe with Facebook safety check, and I'll be monitoring the situation with our team during the ongoing response. So, Mark, clearly a very active scene there, as we can see from live video, as we can hear from officials, and clearly the traffic there on I-5 is at a total standstill.
Yes, this is, they can't do anything until the NTSB gets there. They cannot begin to disturb the accident scene. Right. But as soon as they have done the documentation, the NTSB is cognizant and recognizes the inconvenience that having this equipment laying on its side and on that highway. So they actually move very quickly once they have actually gotten the amount of information they need. They'll be taking some of these cars and taking them to a secure location to do a much better inspection of them. And the NTSB is on the scene right now, correct? I can't tell you if they are. If it is, it's somebody from one of the regional offices. Right. Typically, the GO team will come out in an airplane, and it will come from Washington. That's where we have a number of our experts located, but we also have some in the regional offices. But wouldn't surprise me. We might see a GO team of anywhere between 10 and 12 people, including survival factors. And what is the chain of command there at this point? There'll be an investigator in charge from the NTSB. There'll be a board member that will come who will act as a spokesman and deal with the political officials as well. All right, Mark Rosenkerr, thank you so much for all of that. Earlier, my colleague Anne-Marie Green spoke with a passenger who was on the train when it derailed.
The train was running about a half hour behind, and we left the station at a pretty good clip. The section of the train is the track is supposed to be rated for a maximum speed of 79 miles per hour for this section, and we had just passed the city of Dupont, and it seemed like we were going around a curve, and all of a sudden we felt sort of this rocking and creaking noise, and then all of a sudden it felt like we were heading down a hill, and the next thing that we know, like, we're being slammed into the front of the front of our seats, and the windows are breaking, and then we stop, and there's water that's gushing out of the top of the train, and all the lights go out, and people are screaming.
Water? Where was the water coming from? I'm looking at least one shot there. Is there water in the area?
No, it might have been water that's actually inside the train. It's part of a compartment. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, it is raining here. I'm not sure what's going on.
Chris, it sounds absolutely terrifying. Now, I had heard that this was this a new train or a new line, a high-speed line?
Yeah, so this was the first run of the train. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You've been through a lot. I'm just impressed that you're talking to me, period. I know sort of on this coast we have these Acela lines that are kind of fast track trains that go between New York and D.C. Is it something similar?
Right. Yeah, well, the tracks for this line were supposed to be upgraded to be able to handle higher speeds. I'm not sure what happened at this juncture, but you know that's not that's not something that I know. But there are emergency crews everywhere helping all of the injured.
So you're in the car. It's tossing you about. You're being slammed into the front seat. How do you get out of the car once it comes to a stop?
Yeah. So the emergency doors weren't functioning, and so what we had to use we had to remove the strip around the emergency window and then kick the window out and then climb out that way.
And you're climbing out into what? Some of the photos I see, there's obviously Interstate 5, and then it looks like, you know, sort of wilderness or whatever.
So where we were off the side of an embankment, and so we were just getting off into sticks and brush.
And so were there other people that were trapped? Because I'm seeing a car that's basically hanging off of the overpass.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that that bit, but I did walk around the train looking for help for an injured person, and I did see a semi that seemed to have been hit.
Again, that was an eyewitness account of the Amtrak trail derailment there in Dupont, Washington. Multiple deaths are reported. We will continue to follow the story and bring you all the latest here on CBSN. For now, we're going to move on to some other news. In just under an hour, President Trump will unveil his national security strategy. In the speech, the president is expected to single out China and Russia as threats to American interests, calling them revisionist powers attempting to erode Americans' security and prosperity. This is a live look where the president will speak. This is the first comprehensive effort by this administration to describe an all-encompassing strategic worldview. A senior administration official says the president will also change long-standing policy to focus more on homeland and economic security. We will take you there live when it begins at 2 p.m. Eastern. Also in Washington this Monday, congressional Republicans are moving full speed ahead to give the president a legislative win before the end of the year. The House is scheduled to vote on a plan to overhaul the U.S. tax system tomorrow, while the Senate is expected to vote on the final bill no later than Wednesday. That means it could be on the president's desk by the end of the week, just in time for Christmas. Joining me now to discuss is Ed O'Keefe. He's a congressional reporter for the Washington Post and CBS News contributor. Hi, Ed. Lawmakers had the weekend to read through this roughly 500-page bill. Are Republicans confident at this point in its passage?
Yes, they are. It looks as if it will pass pretty easily in the House and by a narrower margin in the Senate. Remember that John McCain is not expected to be in Washington this week. His decision to go home to Arizona to recuperate from ongoing cancer treatment is not only a signal that he believes he's going to improve, but also a signal that Republicans believe they've got the votes they need. When they only have 52 seats in the Senate and they need at least 50 to have this bill pass, it looks like they'll be able to get it up to 51 without him there. And so again, if need be, the Vice President Pence will stick around in Washington a few extra days, wait to go to the Middle East as scheduled in order to be in town, not only as a potential tiebreaker, but also probably more likely to be able to announce that tally in the Senate chamber and let him be the voice that announces this significant legislative achievement. Let's no mistake that this is a big deal for the Republican Party and for a president who's in desperate need of some legislative accomplishments.
Oh, yes, I think that is very clear. But what are the major points of controversy in this final tax bill?
There have been some questions over the weekend about some changes that were made and how exactly they were made regarding various things related to sort of pass-through corporations and other changes that there were some reports or accusations were made to sort of enrich personally some actual senators who would be voting on this, not because it was just for them, but because they own entities that in essence would benefit from this change in tax law. They've spent the weekend strongly denying that this was something that actually had been in the works for several weeks over the course of the negotiations. But what this exposes is that this was an incredibly secretive process. Elements of this 500-page bill still not widely known, even on Capitol Hill. And undoubtedly, it's going to lead to a lot of questions about why this was rushed, what exactly was put into this, and why, who pushed for those things to be added. It could be anything from certain tax breaks for certain kinds of corporations, or the fact that certain elements were kept in to the current tax law while others were taken out. All of this to be picked apart over the next year as politicians, frankly, run for re-election.
Well, absolutely. And as you mentioned, if this bill passes, this will be the president's first big legislative win, nearly a year after taking office. But we should point out that it is very unpopular among Americans. Yes. Most Americans seem to think that it is helping the wealthy more than anyone else. So does it matter? Does a win matter, even if it's an unpopular one?
Well, to Republicans that you ask up on Capitol Hill, yes, they say, look, a win is a win. This is something that Republicans have campaigned on for generations, revamping, rewriting the tax code. They're doing it. And they argue that, look, over time, as Americans begin to realize that they are actually potentially saving money or are able to make larger, more generous deductions in some cases, that ultimately people are going to come around to this. They may not understand it or like it right now, but they'll discover that there is change for them personally. Democrats and other critics of this legislation turn around and say, no, not quite. While there may be larger standard deductions, while you may get a larger tax credit for having children, frankly, people who live in New York or New Jersey, California, Illinois, and other states that are taxed at higher rates are potentially going to see their taxes go up overall because they won't be able to deduct as much in their property taxes, their local and state property taxes. So, look, again, all of this will be flushed out in the coming months. Certainly, though, Republicans will champion this, and Democrats are going to do everything they can to raise concerns about it and criticize certain Republican incumbents, especially those in suburban swing districts across the country where Democrats think they can win next year.
How significant is it that a lot of these tax cuts are set to expire?
Well, the individual ones are for people like you and me.
Right.
For corporations, for some of the wealthiest Americans, certain tax breaks or the changes in the tax rate are permanent. Look, the reason, the basic reason is because making the individual rates temporary allows the government to not spend, to allow this bill not to cost as much as it could. There was a certain limit at which the bill had to cost in order for it to be able to pass in the Senate under what they call reconciliation. It's a special rule used for budget bills, but there's a price cap on it. And so in order to keep it below that, they had to make these certain tax cuts temporary. Republicans turn around and say, look, come 2025, when these taxes begin to expire, the tax cuts begin to expire, undoubtedly Congress is going to want to renew them because they're going to be popular. Right. We'll see. We're not fortune tellers into the future, but that's the argument they give, and that's the reason they had to do it.
Ed O'Keefe, thank you for that.
Take care.
We have now some sound from an eyewitness, I understand, who was on the Amtrak train that derailed that we're seeing a picture of right there. Adrienne Thompson is his name. I understand he was on the train. We're actually going to go to our affiliate there, Cairo.
Strange thing to see this train, knowing that I was just on it, knowing that they were celebrating this new route and how this was going to help speed things up, reduce congestion along the route through Tacoma for Burlington Northern Santa Fe and the freight rail, and then we have this. So it's a tragic thing, and it's an odd feeling as an individual to have been that close to something that's ended up like this.
All right, Kevin, let us know if you need to go to get new information, but you have such great insight. They want to just kind of keep asking you questions there. We're getting our live pictures from the scene here. As we've looked at the pictures, the photos that have come in, and the live pictures that you guys are showing us, we've been trying to figure out how many of those Amtrak train cars actually crashed down onto the interstate. By my count, I counted at least 3. Are you able to tell from your vantage point the number of Amtrak passenger cars that actually crashed onto the interstate?
What I can see is pretty much what you see. I mean, obviously, the camera is able to push in and get a better view than I can from this vantage point. I can see one car on the south side, and of course the 2 cars you see dangling here on the north side of it. It looks to me as though there could be 2 cars down on the ground, but I just can't see closely. There are two cars and a semi.
Okay. Yep. No problem.
Two railroad cars.
Yep.
You see 2.
Oh, yes, there are 2 railroad cars.
There are 2 railroad cars on the south side, and then we have the cars you see here on the north side, the one dangling and the one that's still kind of on the tracks with another car alongside of it. So we don't have an exact count. It appears that we have 3 down on the ground, but it's not clear because we can't see what's on the other side of that overpass.
And Kevin, from your vantage point, and maybe Terry, who's behind the camera there with that extender on, and you're able to really get in there, have you been able to see anybody going on board trying to get anyone off the train cars still? Because Ed Troyer a short time ago told us they're still working the train cars now. He did not know, or our connection hung up with him when I asked if anyone was still trapped on the train cars.
It's not clear. We don't see any crews that are actually getting on board. We see some people on the track on the overpass. And by the way, we just had 3 buses pull up here. It's not clear if these are here to transport passengers or not. We're going to see if we can give you a shot of those that just pulled up here at the scene. They're from Starline coaches. They were just escorted into this area. So it appears that those are going to be used to transport passengers. Possibly, we don't know at this point because we're having a difficult time getting information because the first responders, the Washington State troopers, and fire crews are, of course, very, very busy at this point trying to work this scene. So it's not clear why those are here, but they came in with an escort by the Washington State Patrol, and they are staging here back where we are, just about on the Mounts Road overpass. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens with those coming up.
Kevin, we know they're taking the non-serious injuries and people who are...
All right, we're going to play some sound for you now. Adrienne Thompson was a passenger on the train, an eyewitness to the derailment that has left several people dead. We don't have numbers yet, but he was on the train. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Terrified and said, you know, she had like PTSD or something, and my immediate inclination was to try and help her and make her feel better and comfort her, even though I didn't know what was going to happen to us.
Did you guys realize what was going on? I mean, like, obviously you guys had just crashed, but did it hit something, or did that even appeal to you the first couple of seconds?
I mean, I was so far behind the front of the train, I just initially thought, okay, it felt like the train that came off the tracks or something, it was just going to slide and not be a big deal. But then the second part of the accident was like, you know, just a ricochet from there. At that point on, it was like we're turning and spinning, and the train behind us hit us, and it was just like a whole lot going on.
How long did it feel like from when that happened to when you guys were able to get help and help arrive?
One more time?
How long did it feel like before help arrived? I mean, did it feel?
I mean, it felt pretty immediate. The people here, like, I'm just feeling blessed because people here are so welcoming, so helpful. It was really quick when support came and came and got us and made sure we were okay.
Tell me about some of the folks that you saw that were not worse shape than you without getting to.
Right. Well, luckily, I didn't see anything too graphic or too traumatic. I just remember seeing it was sad because there's a lot of older people that were kind of hurt and you know, bleeding and everything. And I just checked myself out before I saw them, and so I just had a couple scrapes on my knees, you know. And when I saw some scrapes on people's faces, and you know, and could barely walk and everything, you know, there's even a dog, you know, on the train. And, you know, luckily the dog was okay. So
you didn't see any deaths, though, did you? You didn't see any deaths?
No, I didn't. Luckily, I don't know what I would have done if I did. I saw something that was close to it, but you know. My guy was pretty scraped up pretty bad, and I offered him a water and everything, but I was like, okay, I don't know how much the water's going to help him, but, you know, there's some, you know, people just in shock.
Did you call your mom about it?
Funny thing, yeah, my sister is like an hour away. She offered to come get me, but I was like, you know, I looked at the roads when I got outside, looked outside, I said, oh my God, the traffic is crazy. You know, I looked and saw the train was hanging over the bridge. It's like, man, you know, I'm okay. My mom knows I'm okay, though, so I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me, so I feel blessed to be alive and okay right now.
I'm curious, too. Once you were able to get out of the train, were you able to actually see it dangling off the freeway, and then did that kind of just...
Like I said, my car, when I got off, we were kind of on the inside, further away from the highway and everything, so I didn't see anything until we started walking away, and, you know, support started, you know, police started, you know, directing us away from where we were at, our car, and then I noticed that it was a lot. It didn't seem like it was that big of an accident in my car, but then when I looked out and saw all the chaos, it's like, man, I'm just grateful that the car that I was in, I wasn't in another car, because I might not be here right now talking to you guys. All the above right now, you know. I had to say a prayer multiple times after this, you know, for all the people that are here helping us and everything, and I just really pray for all the families and friends of people that got really seriously hurt or worse right now.
Adrienne, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
And we just heard one of the passengers on that derailed Amtrak train, Adrienne Thompson, describing what he experienced, what he saw. The car that he was in was not impacted as badly as some of the others. Still, he described seeing multiple injuries and said he's very thankful to be alive. We're going to go back now to our affiliate there in Washington, Cairo, where they have live reports.
Tracks at that point, and there's the two mainline tracks, and of course it goes on to whatever track the conductor is told to use as it continues its way south. So yes, there is a turn here. Now, I recall when we took the ride, we were still moving at a pretty good speed when one of the information officers on board the train came to me and said, "We're about to cross I-5." And we went across I-5 very quickly, as you can imagine, and then we pulled down into the squall, and we slowed down at that point, actually switched on to the main line, and then we reversed. They reversed the train, and we headed back to the Tacoma Dome station for the grand opening of the new station, because that's what that was all about. We weren't taking the train down to Portland, obviously. So yes, there is a turn there. Whether or not that had a role in this, we don't know at this point. That's one of the questions we'll be asking when we have an opportunity to talk with investigators. You can see these buses right here, apparently turning around, so it's really not clear what those buses are here for, but they have reversed some traffic here. They're obviously going to be going against what would be the traffic flow when they turn around. And it's not clear why that's happening at this point, if they're going to put passengers on them or if they're trying to get these buses out of the area. So if that had been the case, obviously they probably would have come up here on Mounts Road, because they were redirecting some traffic off of I-5 onto this overpass and then turning people around. So the buses appear to be leaving. It's not clear. We haven't had a chance to ask anybody why they were here or what they were doing, so that's another thing we're going to be asking when we get an opportunity.
All right, this is Kevin Mccarty reporting for us live on the scene as we stay on the picture here. Kevin, if you're just joining us, Kevin himself and his photographer rode this Amtrak Cascades train just on Friday. Want to get you up to speed in case you're just tuning in with us. This Amtrak Cascades passenger train derailed around 7:40 this morning. It was going over this I-5 southbound in Dupont, heading towards Olympia, when it came crashing off the tracks onto the interstate, onto vehicles below. At this point, numbers-wise, we know a total of 77 patients being taken to hospitals in Pierce and Thurston counties. That was via CHI Franciscan Health reporting those numbers for us. So at least 77 injuries, some of them from the train, some of them from traffic, from crashes involving cars. We're working to find out the number of people killed. Just a devastating accident here, and these are the first live pictures we've had now for about the last 15-20 minutes showing you the scene. Obviously still very active. We know I-5 is going to be shut down all day, at least through the day, in the southbound lanes.
And as we're seeing from our live look here from photojournalist Terry Griffin, you're seeing some fire engines leave the scene there, as Kevin was also mentioning that these Starline motor coaches are turning around and leaving the scene as well. We do want to say, Chopper, this is the first time we have seen an aerial look at the scene here. Our Chopper 7 has just arrived in the last couple of minutes, got a good enough break in the weather here over Dupont and I-5. So we're all going to see this for the first time together as we get our eyes on this from overhead from Chopper 7 there, looking at I-5, the southbound lanes. As we just try to clear these trees here, you will see what we've been looking at from the ground up to this point, that Amtrak Cascades train that fell right off that trestle this morning about 7:45.
So you're looking at the southbound lanes of I-5 there, so traffic going up toward the top of the screen. The train itself was heading southbound as well, so they would have been going from right to left as you look at your screen, and you can see the curve now. We were just asking Terry about that, and that is a big curve right there heading into where the train derailed. So the train, we know the speed limit there is 79 miles per hour, so this is the new high-speed Cascades Amtrak train, Amtrak Cascades train that just started this new service today. Today is the first day of this in service. It rode on Friday, clearly, as we've talked about, because Kevin Mccarty was on it. Just into the newsroom now. The governor has declared a state of emergency because of this. Kevin, what can you tell us?
I can't see it now anyway. It's behind the trees.
And maybe, Kevin, are you there? Maybe we can keep with Chopper because that is such incredible video. But Kevin Mccarty, did you want to talk to us? Do you have some numbers?
Yeah, no, we don't have any numbers yet. I just wanted to mention regarding the speed of the train, 79 miles per hour is the maximum speed the train can travel. Obviously, at this point, we don't know what speed it was traveling during this derailment this morning. It's not clear whether or not the train has to slow down to make that switch over to the main line and whether or not it slows down here. It didn't on Friday when I was on board, at least not significantly. But I do want to mention that 79 miles per hour is the maximum the train can travel. So as there were warnings were going out previously to let people know that trains would be traveling along this route, they were told to watch out for fast-moving trains up to 79 miles per hour. So I just wanted to make that note for you guys, since we don't know what speed it was traveling when it derailed this morning.
Do you remember, Kevin, when you wrote it on Friday, because we just showed the shot from Chopper 7 showing the curve you were talking about. So we've got both live pictures now, where we got the Chopper shot on the left, and that is our ground shot from Kevin. And Kevin, what I was going to ask is, do you remember, did it feel like you slowed down as you came around curves like that, or did it maintain its max speed when you wrote it?
It maintained its speed, and we began slowing down a short time after this, after we got across Interstate 5 on that trestle and onto getting prepared to switch over to the main line. And I don't know at this point if that's standard procedure or if they did that simply because we were slowing to a stop at that point and turning around and heading the other direction. So that's a question we want to pose to Amtrak. You know, what is the speed that a train like this would move through here? Does it slow? Does it not slow? Those are things we're going to have to ask them.
Yep, Kevin, we're going to be asking those questions. And as you're talking, we're getting a new vantage point from Chopper 7 there on the left. We're just now starting to see what it looks like on the other side from where you are. And so we're now counting, Michelle and I, just kind of counting the number of cars we're seeing there. We can see the engine. We know at least 3 passenger trains. That one, clearly serious damage. This is the first time we're seeing this because our vantage point was from the other side all morning long, except for right now. You're seeing this for the first time. The number of cars that came off the tracks, and we're just taking this all in because as we look at it, we're trying to figure out how and why this happened. We know at least one car was destroyed as it crashed onto the interstate. That's on the other side of I-5, right underneath the car that's dangling. And as we look here from the southbound side, we're seeing numerous
cars that almost look like they were just placed down there on the ground. So this is really incredible to see here, getting our first look from Chopper 7 over the scene of this Amtrak derailment that happened in Dupont, right over onto the southbound lanes of I-5, but then in other areas in that wooded area as well. We do know the President of the United States has been briefed on this. The Ntsb, the National Transportation Safety Board, has what they call a go team headed to the scene. We have been told that I-5, as we have been telling you for quite some time now, will be shut down all day today. No word on when these tracks will be reopened, but just looking at these incredible live images from Chopper 7, as John mentioned, looking at them for the first time along with you, our viewers at home, trying to count the number of cars there, and you have two to the side, some going down onto I-5 that way, but then on the other side, a number of them just lined up.
We know 78 passengers were on board this train, and so as we look at this live, we can now start to get some more information, just a better clarity. So there's really only, I guess I count 4 cars that look like they weren't impacted. In other words, the entire rest of the train would have been impacted. Some of the cars flipped on their side, and as Kevin Mccarty was telling us, who just rode this train on Friday, there are no seat belts, so passengers would have been sitting down with no seat belt, and so the cars that, oh wow, we're zooming in now, and just devastation to this particular car, and you can see it was just mangled as it crashed right down onto morning rush hour traffic around 7:40 this morning.
And we have numerous crews out covering this breaking news for you, this mass casualty situation. We do have some witness sound, a witness interview that we want to play for you now. Let's listen in.
I was near the end of the car, so one of the pipes broke loose earlier.
Did you get jolted awake when that happened, or how did that?
Yeah, I did get jolted awake.
And so, where were you on the train? Like, what train were you on? There's only like 4 cars, right?
No, there's, I think, over 7, because I was in car 7.
And so, what happened to you with your car when you?
I'm a little fuzzy, but it rolled off. It kind of went off the bridge onto another car, crushing it. So we were at an extremely slope. So there was a lot of startled people.
Were you able to? Did you try to help anyone out? Were you trying to help each other out? What was going on?
Yeah, because there was some gas. I popped open a couple windows to help get some airflow through it, so we weren't breathing in everything. I tried getting people to stay calm and move slowly down the car after the door was reopened.
How was your guys' car? Was it still on the track, or did it fall off?
It was dislodged from the track. It was half on the bridge and half on the ground. It was at a really weird angle.
Now, I know this is really soon after all of that happened, but, I mean, how do you even describe,
It was nerve-wracking. It was the first time I've ever been through something like that. So I was first unsure what to do.
And everyone else was pretty unsure. How long do you know how long everyone help finally arrived?
That's probably 5 minutes, I'm guessing, 10 tops. They came in pretty quickly.
All right, that is an interview that you heard from our Rob Munoz. He is at the Dupont City Hall there, where people are coming in if they have been injured or on that train. But we do just have this in from the Associated Press that from a U.S. official that 6 people at least were killed in this Amtrak train derailment in the Mounts Road area of Dupont this morning. This happened about 7:45. Again, from a U.S. official, according to the Associated Press, at least 6 people killed. And when we see these images from Chopper 7, it is unbelievable when you see some of this damage just crashing down off of this trestle, possibly going close to 80 miles an hour rounding that curve and coming off of the train tracks.
78 people total on the train, and then you had rush hour traffic below at the height of rush hour at 7:40 in the morning. So we had people injured in the crashes on the ground. We could see from a picture earlier that at least one train car fell onto a moving vehicle because it was smashed in its front end. And the devastation, it just continues to be more apparent as we're looking at these pictures from Chopper 7. We know at least 77 people taken to a hospital, and we've now confirmed at least 6 people killed in this crash. New information just into the KIRO 7 newsroom.
And we also have information from the Associated Press. I do want to say again from the Associated Press, and they are saying this is from transitdocs.com. Our newsroom is all over this. This is a website that maps Amtrak train locations and speeds using data from the railroad's train tracker app. So according to the AP, the train was going 81.1 miles per hour before this derailment. And as our Kevin Mccarty, who rode this train Friday with media and dignitaries, because this is the first day of this route for commuters, as he showed us and we saw from Chopper 7, there is a turn right before it came off the tracks right over I-5.
Oh, and the speed limit is 79 miles per hour for the train. So we're learning from a U.S. official that it was going 81. So that would have been faster than what the speed limit allowed right as it came around that curve to go across I-5. Lots of questions about why it was going that fast, why it came off the rails, and we have team coverage. We have Chopper 7 showing you the live aerial photos right now. We have multiple crews spread out to get the latest information, including KIRO 7's Sydney Kim, who joins us now. Sydney, where are you and what can you tell us?
Hey, John, Michelle, I'm here at St. Joseph Medical Center in Tacoma. This is one of the hospitals accepting patients from that train derailment. Latest numbers I got from CHI Franciscan, which runs this hospital, is that there are 77 patients being transported to hospitals in Pierce and Thurston counties. Take a look behind me. This is where the ambulances pull up to take these injured patients into the hospital. You can see that there's a sandwich board that was put out just moments ago. It reads emergency preparedness in progress. I'm also told that there's a command center that has been set up inside of the hospital so that they can help deal with some of these injured patients and also the families who are here to come and reunite with their loved ones. Apparently, rooms have been also set up for family members here. A spokesperson tells me that the emergency room is fully set up and running. Additional doctors and nurses are here on site to receive patients. I'm trying to find out the latest numbers of patients being transported here to St. Joe's. A hospital spokesperson I talked with just moments ago says he's efforting that information for us right now. But what I can tell you is that 4 of these 77 patients being transported in Pierce and Thurston counties, 4 of them are considered level red patients. Now, those are the patients that are considered to have the most severe injuries after being triaged at the accident scene. Across the street from where I'm standing right now, this is a parking lot, a hospital worker tells me has been designated for some family members of the injured patients. So family members can park there, walk over here across the street, around the corner here to the emergency room, which is where folks will most likely touch base with somebody, asking them what they're here for, which patients they're here to see. They'll be set up in a room and hopefully reunited with their loved one as soon as possible. But once again, 77 patients being transported to hospitals throughout Pierce and Tacoma, Pierce and Thurston counties, that is. St. Joseph Medical Center is just one of these hospitals. Patients are also being sent to St. Clair and Tacoma General Hospital, as well as Madison. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Simney Kim. Yes, and our newsroom had also called Harborview's Medical Center in Seattle. Harborview Medical Center, the area's level 1 trauma center, and they said they were not receiving anyone there at this time. Again, you are looking at our first images live over the scene from Chopper 7 here. You're seeing a semi that it looks like a cab of that semi was crushed, but according to Pierce County, no one on the ground was killed. So in the vehicles that were on I-5, but we're still waiting for that official word on the scene. We do know from our partners at Cairo Radio from Pierce County that the train cars are now empty. We were asking our Kevin Mccarty that on the scene. He wasn't seeing anyone inside looking around, but the last we had asked Pierce County, the official there, Ed Troyer, he was not sure. He said they were still going through the trains. So now the train cars are empty. And if you are just joining us, we know that according to the AP, at least 6 fatalities from this train derailment this morning in Dupont.
Yeah, President Trump just weighing in on Twitter, saying the train accident that just occurred in Dupont, Washington shows more than ever why our soon-to-be submitted infrastructure plan must be approved quickly. $7 trillion spent in the Middle East while our roads, bridges, tunnels, railways, and more crumble, not for long. So that was the verbatim of what President Trump just tweeted about this incident, talking about his infrastructure plan. But of course, the more pressing issue right now is the fact that there are people injured. They're in the hospital right now, as we just heard from Simney Kim. Some serious injuries. And as we look live at the picture, Chopper 7 on the left, showing you the aerial view. That's our crew on the ground on the right. You can see just how devastating this was. A train going 81 miles per hour, derailing at what is probably the worst possible spot, right onto I-5 below in the middle of rush hour at 7:40 a.m.
And we do want to say from our Kevin Mccarty, who was riding this train on Friday, and from our Graham Johnson, who covers transportation stories, that this set of tracks, this is the first day of this Point Defiance bypass to make more of a straight shot, if you will, from the Seattle area down south. The upgrades to this were just completed and just finished on the track. So this investigation not even underway yet, because they are still treating these patients, getting this situation under control as we take this bird's eye look from Chopper 7 live over that scene at Mounts Road in Dupont. But again, upgrades were just finished to these tracks. I think, is that Kevin Mccarty talking to us again?
Yes, I just wanted to pass this on. I know the Associated Press is reporting 6 dead. There is a tweet now from the Pierce County Sheriff's Department that they have not released any numbers on injuries and fatalities, and that any reports attributing these to our department are incorrect. All official updates regarding injuries or fatalities will be released by the Washington State Department or Washington State Patrol. So it appears at least for the time being, that the Pierce County Sheriff's Department is contradicting what the AP has reported at this point. I'm just trying to see if I can make sure I have the very latest tweet from them. And they're standing by that they have not confirmed the number of dead. So we have that contradiction. That's another question we want to ask when we get an opportunity, because of course, as you guys have been reporting, the AP says 6 confirmed fatalities. The Pierce County Sheriff's Department saying at this point that they have not confirmed the number of fatalities. So that is, it's obviously this is a very dynamic situation. A lot of information is still being gathered. All of that put together, we saw the Washington State Patrol troopers who were over here at the Eagles Pride Golf Course, which is just on the north side of Interstate 5 here at Mounts Road. They were having a meeting, and we expect we'll get information from them soon. When we spoke to Trooper Brooke Bova, she told us that she was trying to get the latest information and get it to us as quickly as possible. But as you can imagine, the first responders have their hands full trying to get people to safety, trying to get people to the hospitals for treatment, trying to make sure that that scene is safe for them, because that's a precarious position that those cars are in right now. So we expect that we'll be getting that information throughout the morning, hopefully soon.
Yep, Kevin, thank you. And as we talk about the different agencies involved, we've been hearing from the Pierce County Sheriff who are not saying a number killed, but it was a U.S. official who has said that 6 people were killed. We know that in a situation like this involving transportation on rail, the National Transportation Safety Board is involved. So you have the State Patrol, Pierce County Sheriff's Office, and the feds involved as well. So the feds are going to be the ones that lead this investigation, and it was a federal source that gave us the number 6 people killed. So we're going to continue, of course, to work that. As you look at the damage from Chopper 7, and then on the right, our ground shot, it's not difficult to believe that 6 people were killed in this. We know 78 people were on board this Amtrak Cascades train. It was heading south towards Olympia. It had just left the new Tacoma Dome station this morning, and at 7:40 a.m., it was coming around this curve right here at 81 miles per hour, we're now told, and it just derailed right down onto the interstate below. You can see multiple cars, just significant damage. 78 people on the train. We know people were injured in the crashes in the backup on I-5 as well, because this was right in the middle of rush hour. This would have been southbound traffic heading towards Olympia, right through Dupont, when this happened at 7:40 this morning. Investigators there now checking out the tracks. Of course, that's a big element here. Why did this train come off the tracks? This is the first official day of this new high-speed service, but the train has made this trip before, the high-speed train, because our Kevin Mccarty and photographer Terry Griffin were on that train Friday for a special media tour. So it had gone through this path before, but today was the first official day for passenger service, and traffic I-5 shut down for at least through today in the southbound lanes.
And as we continue with this live look from Chopper 7, I want to bring in Rachel Calderon in the Cairo 7 Traffic Center. Rachel, we're looking at these pictures from Chopper 7. To say traffic is a mess right now is not enough. It is really bad.
Well, and even Governor Jay Inslee just, reiterated what we've been telling people to avoid traveling on I-5. And
Rachel, we're going to interrupt you, and we're going to go to our Kevin Mccarty, who is on the scene gathering information. Kevin, what do you got?
A little bit, like we're going to be setting up a JIC, but that's...
We're speaking with Trooper Brooke Bova, who is the Public Information Officer working this scene for us. Brooke, what can you tell us at this point? AP is reporting 6 fatalities. Can you confirm that?
No, I don't know where they're getting their information. Amtrak has not released that information at this time, and we're not releasing any information until we get the go-ahead from Amtrak.
What do you know about what happened here at this point?
I can't speak onto the collision itself. That information needs to come from Amtrak. What I can tell you is that a high-speed train did derail early this morning, that it did fall into the southbound I-5 at Mounts Road, and that troopers have closed down all of I-5 southbound.
Do you have injuries or fatalities on the freeway itself?
Can't speak to that. Can't speak to any injuries or any information regarding the derailment itself.
How many vehicles that were on the freeway are involved? Can you say?
I can't speak to anything that involved the derailment.
What agencies are involved in investigating all of this?
Amtrak and Ntsb are taking the lead. State Patrol is the lead law enforcement agency and will be assisting in any kind of investigation that they require.
How long do you anticipate that the southbound lanes will be closed?
Unfortunately, this is, I would say, all day. Probably well into the night, if not partially blocking tomorrow as well.
Is there a site, anything you can direct people to if they need to get to make this trip. There's something they can't put off. Is there somewhere they can go to determine alternate routes?
You know, I would say follow WashDOT's Twitter feed, their website. They're really good at updating current information, and I know that they are trying to work with Jblm, trying to see if we can use some of their access roads and detour people there. I don't know if that has been put into place at this time. Again, if you don't need to go south, I recommend just staying off the road. This is going to cause quite the backup for an undetermined amount of time, and we're looking at something that could be quite lengthy.
And again, just to wrap up with you, do you know when you'll be able to have any kind of updates and pass along any kind of numbers to us?
We do. We are creating a joint information center right now, and so once we get all parties here and on board, we'll have a cohesive message that we can send out and that we can really update people with numbers and everything.
Thank you very much. Yeah. That's Trooper Brooke Bova.
We're just watching live coverage from our affiliate there in Washington, Cairo. We're going to bring in Mark Rosen now. He is the former chairman of the Ntsb. He joins me now by phone. Mark, I want to talk to you about this latest AP report that we're hearing that attributes an unnamed U.S. official saying that it may appear preliminary signs indicate that the Amtrak train may have struck something on the track before going off the track. Does that sound like it makes sense to you?
Well, that could, certainly. There are lots of things that still remain on the table. What you have to do, and we're going to, as soon as the Ntsb investigative team gets on scene, clearly one of the first things they're going to be doing is getting the event recorder off the locomotive. Two, they're going to be also making sure that they get the video downloaded from what the engineer's point of view would have been on the track, and also if, in fact, the engineer may have been distracted in some way, shape, or form. There are cameras that are now looking in the locomotive cab.
Right.
So all of those things together are going to help. And, of course, they'll be looking at that section of the track where, if, in fact, something allegedly was on, they'll have a good idea, potentially, of what it might have been if, and I say if, there was something on the track. Now, could it have been placed there intentionally, or could it have been an accidental fall of something on the track? If, in fact, this does turn out to be something which appears to be criminal, then the Ntsb will no longer lead the investigation. The chairman will call the Attorney General, indicating that we do not believe it was an accident, but we will stand by to help the FBI in any type of investigation they do.
I'm just going to interrupt you quickly to point out that President Trump has tweeted twice about this incident. The first tweet says, "The train accident that just occurred in Dupont, Washington shows more than ever why our soon-to-be submitted infrastructure plan must be approved quickly. $7 trillion spent in the Middle East while our roads, bridges, tunnels, railways, and more crumble. Not for long." And his most recent tweet says, "My thoughts and prayers are with everyone involved in the train accident in Dupont, Washington. Thank you to all our wonderful first responders who are on the scene. We are currently monitoring here at the White House." So two tweets from the president. I want to go back to his first tweet, though, Mark, where he mentions the infrastructure, United States infrastructure. I mean, a lot has been made about old tracks and bringing everything up to date. I want to point out, though, according to this AP report, this unnamed U.S. official, anonymous U.S. official, said that because the tracks were new, this was unlikely to be a maintenance issue. Is that your understanding about these tracks?
Well, again, we don't know exactly how new these tracks were. The railroad that owns this section of track is going to be a party to this investigation. Mm-hmm. They will be able to bring in all kinds of information and records indicating when it was last inspected, when it was last maintained, when it was installed. So there's lots of data that they're going to be able to provide. Clearly, we do have an infrastructure problem in certain areas of the country, and whether it's track, whether it's tunnels, whether it's highways, whether it's bridges. I just would not be attributing anything to infrastructure yet.
Right. So I do want to ask you, though, about speed, because we understand this was a high-speed train. We hear that the limit that this train or this track could withstand was 80 miles per hour. When we talk about speed limits like that, how much cushion is worked in? I mean, can you go over a little bit, or is there absolutely no room for error?
No, there's margin that they build in, certainly, because in case an engineer does overspeed the train, they want to have enough at margin to be able to prevent a derailing. but
so what's a
there's not
typical
a
margin?
whole lot of it. Sorry?
What's a typical margin?
It could be a number of miles per hour.
Okay.
That's indicated by the grade. Lots of things are brought into factor before, in fact, they give you a speed limit and then the margin built in.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for your insight. We're going to take a quick break. We'll, of course, have much more on this in the upcoming hour, as well as the president's speech. You're streaming CBSN, always live. Hello, everyone. I'm Tanya Rivero. Thanks for joining us. Any minute now, President Trump is scheduled to speak about his administration's national security strategy. We will bring that to you live as soon as it starts. We are following developing news out of Washington state, where an Amtrak train has derailed, and according to new reports, there are at least 6 fatalities. The force of the derailment caused several train cars to jump the tracks. You can see part of the train hanging from the overpass bridge. We're expecting a briefing from the Ntsb in about 30 minutes. It all happened about 40 miles south of Seattle on Amtrak's new Cascade line, connecting several cities along Washington's busy I-5 corridor. So far, officials say at least 77 people have been transported to a nearby hospital. Ed Troyer, spokesman for the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, updated reporters earlier.
When we got to the scene, it was obvious that there were some fatalities and there were a lot of injuries, and some people were able to get off the train. Multiple cars and trucks were struck by train cars that left the train tracks and went down onto the road. The people that were in all the vehicles, even though when you see the pictures, it's pretty horrific, at this point, nobody in any of the vehicles is a fatal. The fatals are all contained to the train.
And let's bring in CBS News transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve. He joins me now on the phone. Chris, we're hearing now the 6 fatalities. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Yeah, you know, we're hearing from police. We know that there were multiple fatalities. We believe they were all people on board the train. We also know that the train came down and struck cars on the freeway and that there were some injuries associated with that, but it doesn't appear that those were the fatalities.
Amazing that no one there on the freeway there appears to have died. What though are you hearing about the injuries? We do know that some of those people transported to local hospitals are in critical condition, correct?
Well, look, you took a train that was moving at a high rate of speed and essentially brought it to zero in an unplanned fashion in a catastrophic manner. There are going to be injuries. There are going to be significant injuries. We saw some of the video you would see of the triage tents where you had red, yellow, and green. The red being the most critical. You're going to see a lot of those. You're going to see a lot of broken bones and those types of injuries. People are going to get thrown around inside the train. So you're going to see a wide variety of injuries. Probably everyone on board that train suffered some kind of an injury.
Have you been able to speak to anyone from the Ntsb there who's on the scene?
The Ntsb is not on the scene.
They're not on the scene yet. Okay.
No, they're going to brief at 2:30 today before they leave for Washington, and I don't expect them to be able to tell you a whole lot. Their goal once they get to the scene will be to collect the data recorder, collect the video cameras. There's a forward-facing and an interior-facing camera up front in that train, and then they'll begin documenting the evidence and begin their painstaking process. Keep in mind, an Ntsb investigation can last a year or more.
Right.
But so don't expect to learn a ton from their briefing at 2:30 today, other than they're going to tell you who's going, what they're going to be looking at, and once they get on scene, they'll begin that investigation.
And what can you tell us whether the first responders are just about wrapping up there?
You know, I can't. I think once they've accounted for everybody, they'll start wrapping that up.
Okay, Chris Van Cleve, thank you so much. We're going to take you live to Washington now, where President Trump is delivering a speech on his administration's national security strategy. Let's listen in.
Professionals, military, civilian, and law enforcement who devote their lives to serving our nation. In particular, I want to recognize General Dunford and the members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In addition, we are honored to be joined by House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Homeland Security Chairman Mike Mccaul, and Senate Majority Whip John Cornyn. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Let me begin by expressing our deepest sympathies and most heartfelt prayers for the victims of the train derailment in Washington State. We are closely monitoring the situation and coordinating with local authorities. It is all the more reason why we must start immediately fixing the infrastructure of the United States. We're here today to discuss matters of vital importance to us all: America's security, prosperity, and standing in the world. I want to talk about where we've been, where we are now, and finally, our strategy for where we are going in the years ahead. Over the past 11 months, I have traveled tens of thousands of miles to visit 13 countries. I have met with more than 100 world leaders. I have carried America's message to a grand hall in Saudi Arabia, a great